12 years of we'll see. You, Chris, you will see.
Guys, that Safa is actually the one that is the problem, not Zena.
Hey guys, you are especially welcome to our first review of the year 2024. Now, once again, happy, blessed new year to every single one of you. My name is Gloria Elijah. This is Frankly Speaking with Gloria Elijah, and I am the girl with the tea. And yes, we will be continuing with our review and analysis of Dubai Bling's season 2. So last year, which was just like 2 weeks ago, we stopped at the first episode of the show, and we had just concluded our review of The Real Housewives of Lagos season 2. So on this video, we're going to be continuing with the episode 2 of the season 2 of Dubai Blings. Now, just a quick reminder, if you are yet to pick up with the show, guys, you are missing out a lot. You're missing out a lot. If you enjoyed The Real Housewives of Lagos, you would totally enjoy this one. So go ahead, check it out on Netflix, catch up with the season 1, which was just as much as a banger as this new season is, all right? And of course, I would love to hear your thoughts about it all on my video in the comment section below. So please go ahead, watch this video to the end. Do not skip out on any part because there's a lot to talk about, all right? And feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section below. Now, for those of you that are new here, you are especially welcome to this community. You're welcome to this space. In case you're wondering what we do on here, this is where we give the most detailed, factual, and accurate analysis of reality TV shows, movies, and trending social topics, all right? On Saturdays by 3 p.m. WAT, we converge here for our YouTube live conversation. So there's a lot of amazing things that actually happen in this community. And if you enjoy content like that, if you enjoy that kind of space, if you want to become a part of this community, just go ahead and do exactly what you see on your screen. Make sure you subscribe, all right? And also turn on your post notification bell if you always want to receive a lot of my videos whenever I upload a new one, or if you always want to be notified whenever I go live on Saturdays, all right? Now, all of that said, let's just quickly proceed with the details of the episode 2 of Dubai Bling's season 2. Now, this episode was such an eye-opener. Guys, some of the speculations that I had about some of these cast members whilst I was reviewing episode 1 was totally validated on this episode. It left me wondering who was more insecure between Danya and her husband, DJ Bliss. Some of the conversations they had, guys, it just totally revealed that that young man has a lot of personal issues that he is dealing with and sadly projecting to other people around him. Now, this might all be for sure. This might all be scripted just to create, you know, controversial content. I don't know. But guys, whatever I'm saying right now, I am referring to what is being portrayed for us to see on the show. So we're not going to be too hasty to jump the events of this particular episode. So let's just go back and take it right from the very beginning, the very first scene of this episode. If you all recall, episode 1 had ended with Lojay creating a division in the group. Now, during her confessionals, she had actually mentioned that she was not interested in who had issues with who. She was not going to interfere. She was not going to involve herself in whatever issues Ebraheem, Zena, Danya, and Safa were having. But then her actions at that dinner place and some of the things that she said, you know, as the things that she was burning away with the year in that fire, that campfire, completely contradicted the things that she had said during her confessionals. One of which was that she was going to choose herself moving forward. Now, a lot of you had actually said, or rather commented on that video I did, that, oh, what she has said was her referring to the fact that she was no longer going to be handling all the responsibilities of her siblings anymore, which was what she was doing for the whole of season 1. But I had countered one of your comments because of how Lojay had deliberately created that division during her dinner event. Yes. Now, Still with that same energy, Lojay had gone to the poolside with Farhanna, Danya, and LJ. Now they were just chitty-chatty, you know, getting all excited about their upcoming trip, and even making reference to the other ladies, that Zena and Safa, that were not there. And Farhanna was left in her own thoughts, you know, thinking about the conversation that she had, you know, stumbled upon Safa and her husband Fahad having in the restroom at Lojay's event. And she had said in her confessional that she had not actually heard the complete conversation. She had only heard Zena's, or rather Safa's, hesitation to tell Zena something, which she knew was going to upset Zena. So she was completely confused about, you know, the context of that conversation. She wasn't really sure of the conversation, and so she wasn't going to dwell on it. Now, LJ, on the other hand, came with a shocker. She announced to the ladies that she had plans of doing something entirely different with her life, and the plan was to look for a daytime job. She wanted to own a company, she wanted to be her own boss, but for her to do that, she wanted to start as an employee, which, to be very frank with you all, was such an absurd idea for me. Because frankly speaking, guys, it's not like it's not a great idea. It's not like it's not humbling to even hear her say that, right? But it's because of the way she was introduced to us on the show. Yes, LJ was introduced to us as a spoilt brat, yes, a spoilt princess, someone that loves to be served, someone that enjoys being pampered. Even the blind dates that she had actually gone with Ebraheem, she was completely unimpressed with everything that this young man had put together to, you know, impress her, to make an impression, you know. So the fact that she was actually coming from this angle of wanting to look for a daytime job, guys, it sounded like a joke to the rest of the women, and even to me, guys. And I'm like, okay, well, let's wait and see how it goes. In the next scene, the husbands meet up at the beach to play and chill, and there was a conversation about Safa's push present, yes, and the men were just teasing Fahad about what to get his wife, and Fahad was still sort of confused about what to get. According to him, a friend suggested that he gets her a yacht, and Chris felt like that was too much. Like, no, he should not go there, he should not get it. And I'm thinking, well, if a man wants to get his wife a yacht, he should go ahead and do it. What is wrong with getting your woman a yacht if that is going to make her happy? I mean, isn't she deserving? Well, there was his own suggestion that they should prank Safa by having Fahad get a tattoo of her name on his arm as the push present. And Fahad was already scared. According to him, this woman is going to stab him to death. You know, she loves luxury, she loves the good life, and that is the line of thought that he is having. He wouldn't want to get something that's going to trigger her. So they were just, you know, playing around, joking around, and having that conversation. And whilst all of that was happening, DJ Bliss was lost in his own world. He was not enjoying the conversation. He did not want to even have the conversation. He was even sick and tired of hearing about the conversation. For him, all he wanted to talk about was the beef that exists between himself and Chris. Now, guys, if you all recall in episode 1, Danya had actually introduced this beef to us, the viewers, and DJ Bliss had actually carried it on his head ever since, and he's been, you know, brooding over it ever since. And that was his major bone of contention at that gathering. For him, he just needed an opportunity to confront Chris about it. And Chris was just there, just having fun, just playing. Everyone was just chilling, everybody was just having fun. Anyways, he decided to come up with a bait, something that would draw Chris into a trap that he was actually cooking up for Chris. So they had taken a break off their game of tennis, and that was when Bliss had actually announced that he was trying to put together a show, and he feels like Fahad has some money laying about, and so he would love for Fahad to be his sponsor. And Fahad had, you know, gladly accepted, but he did not ask for the details. Now, he had gone ahead to, focus on Chris. And I said, oh, since Chris is in the broadcasting industry, he would love for them to do something together. He would love for Chris to use his platform to, do some sort of announcements, some sort of PR or whatever. And Chris had looked at him and said, okay, we'll see. We'll see what we can do together. Now, DJ Bliss had held on to that and said, for the past 12 years, this is what Chris Fade has been saying. We'll see, we'll see, we'll see.
It's been 12 years. 12 years of we'll see. Oh, you will see.
Now, frankly speaking, guys, at that point in time, I was still confused because this guy, that's Bliss and his wife, Danya, they've been going on and on about this particular 12-year-old beef that's, presumably exists between Chris and DJ Bliss, but we still do not really understand what it is about. We still don't really understand the details of it all. Even the attempted explanation that Bliss had actually given in episode 1, it still does not really make sense. It still does not really add up. And the way Chris is carrying on like there's nothing wrong. There's no problem. I don't really know this guy. And he had given one very funny excuse. According to him, he's got a lot going on at the moment and he's just way too full to get involved in anything, in any other venture or any other business idea or whatever. So he doesn't think he's interested in it all. And guys, it even made me more curious about what this issue is between these two men. The next scene was a lunch date with Zena, Safa, Muna, and Brianna, and there were conversations about the previous night. Now, flashback to the previous night, it was the dinner event that Lojay had put together, and if you all recall, Fahad had broken down, in tears about his mom. There was also Ebraheem that had, emotionally expressed his regret about going together with Danya to Zena's office to fight her. And that whole shenanigan that happened. Now, Safa was making excuses for Ebraheem. She was saying that, when Ebraheem does things, sometimes when he apologizes, he looks very remorseful. But other times he does things you don't really understand, but he kind of looked remorseful, that night whilst he was actually expressing his regret. And it was kind of fishy to Zena because she was looking at Safa like, no, that guy was being fake with all of that expression that he was doing. And guys, you see here, it goes to show how perceptive Zena is, because ladies and gentlemen, if you watched the whole of season 1 of Dubai Blings, you will see clearly that Ebraheem's apology was fake. You will see clearly that Ebraheem actually had no genuine intention of settling things with Zena. For him, he just wanted Safa away from Zena so that Zena will be alone and everybody else will be fighting against Zena. But anyways, guys, moving on, Zena said what she said, and Safa was already panicking. She was fretting because, guys, remember in episode 1, she had had a meeting with Ebraheem. They had talked things out and they had settled their own differences, without telling their friends. And they had promised each other not to tell their friends. Now, Safa said she wasn't going to tell Zena, but she's been, plagued with guilt ever since, and she knows that she needs to tell Zena, but she's not found the right time to do so.
And say, if I felt he had the level of maturity, I would have definitely invited him.
I feel I'm in trouble with Zena.
And even in her guilt, Safa still kind of feels like Zena is too hard. She's got such a hard exterior, like it's like she holds herself back from seeing people's emotions. And Zena maintained that no, that wasn't the case. That for Ebraheem, she could just see and tell that it was all fake. He was just doing and saying all what he was saying for sure. Anyways, she used that opportunity to announce that encounter with Ebraheem and Danya in her office, sort of motivated her to start up a new business venture. And that was a clothing line, yes, which she named I Am the Company, guys.
So I created a fashion line called I Am the Company as a symbol for any person who at any point in their life was told, you can't do it.
See, I loved that scene. I just loved the way she broke the news to everybody because, guys, I'm like, damn, this is the best way. This is the best way to get your own pound of flesh. Instead of getting all ratchet and, you know, rolling in the mud with these people, just use that experience, you know, to build your own step up higher, elevate yourself. And guys, that was exactly what she did. And everything was already in the works. And she was putting together a launch party for her company. Guys, let me ask you all, if you were in Zena's situation, what would you have done different? The next scene was a very interesting conversation between Chris and Mona in Mona's mansion. By the way, a house was breathtaking. Yes, a house looks breathtaking. Now, these two were talking about the baby fever that their partners were having, you know, over having babies. And for Chris, Brianna is literally on his neck. It's like him going to work and then going back home to another job. Yes, the job of having to engage in the marathon of making babies, and it was becoming exhausting.
I came home yesterday and there was a delivery and I opened it up. I thought it was for me and it was just a bunch of ovulation tests.
Oh my gosh, you told me about that.
This is turning out to be like a chore. It's turning out to be like this time, this minute, and I'm like,
For him, they are newlyweds. They just need to chill and enjoy, you know, their new marriage, you know. But for Brianna, that wasn't the case. According to her, she just clocked 35 and she needs to get pregnant immediately. Now, like even yesterday, you know, for her, if she does not get pregnant now, it is too late. And of course, it's quite understandable. She's scared for her biological clock. Yes, you know, the legendary women's biological clock. And it was quite interesting that whilst Brianna was having that baby fever, Mona is the complete opposite. According to Mona, she just clocked 37, but she's not yet ready to have kids. She's not yet ready to even be pregnant.
Hassan is dying to be a father, and like since I met him, honestly, I don't know if I can even think about having a baby this year.
This year in particular is stressful, like so much is happening.
She has a baby project on the way, which is her first independent project, business, away from her family, away from her sister, Huda Beauty. Yes, according to her, this is her opportunity, you know, to start her own thing, you know, her own thing that does not put her in the shadow of her sister. For her, she's not ready, but her husband is ready. And guys, I could totally relate with Mona, because guys, I think we've actually had this conversation before on this channel, you know, about societal pressure, about family pressure, you know, for women to get pregnant, to get even married at a certain age, to have babies at a certain age. And there's been a lot of you that have actually given explanations, especially those of you that work in the medical field, you know, that's giving explanation about the female biological clock. But I would still love to hear from those of you watching this video. What are your thoughts? Yes, who can you completely relate with the most between Brianna and Mona? Go ahead, let me know in the comment section below. Now, the next scene was Ebraheem and Danya's new business venture. Yeah, now these people were quite excited about, you know, starting up a new business, which they named the Besties Cafe. So they are taking a trip to a coffee making factory. Is it coffee bean making factory, guys? I don't know, but it definitely did look like it. And they were quite excited. Now, if you all recall, Danya is a vlogger, and she was quite excited about this particular business venture because it's going to make her wealthy, it's going to make her successful, and she's also going to be working with Ebraheem, her dear friend. Ebraheem, on the other hand, as well, wants Danya to have a feel of his success. Yes, which is quite interesting, guys, but I'm not going to say what's on my mind, but it's quite interesting. Now, she had complaints as well as she had her own excitement, you know, to share. According to her, she's not really happy because her husband, DJ Bliss, is not very supportive.
Where are you going? Why are you meeting Ebraheem?
He's not really taking it seriously.
I wish you would give me more support with this.
It feels like she's wasting her time, and she should be at home more with their kids. You know, every time she tries to have a conversation about this new venture with him, He's not giving her the listening ear. He's not really giving her the audience, and he's not just being supportive at all. And Ebraheem was not really happy about it, but she did not really dwell on it at that point in time. And then they also talked about Zena's new business venture as well. And these people had the freaking audacity to be mocking Zena.
An event?
An event for her brand.
What brand?
Now, like they were like, oh, I am the company that, she actually inspired Zena to start up the company. And I'm like, Danya, yes, you inspired her to start it, but you should cover your face in shame, because you said what you said. I mean, both of you said what you said to mock her status at the company where she was working. And now she's used your insult to start up a company, and indeed she is the company, so you should hide your face in shame, you know. And they were even saying that, oh, they hope that now this time around she really owns the company. And I'm like, what do you guys think? And you see, guys, another thing that was very obvious, you know, between these two women, that is Danya and Zena, is the amount of support that they receive from their spouses. Now, I don't know if you all have noticed, but Zena's husband is 100% supportive. He has his own money. He has his own business. He's just as much as successful as, you know, Zena herself. Zena herself is also very powerful, very successful. She's got a lot going on for her. They've got their child, you know, but the husband is also very supportive. But Danya and her husband, DJ Bliss, on the flip side, they're quite the opposite. DJ Bliss is a DJ, as far as we know. Danya is a vlogger. As far as I'm concerned, I do not really know how they make the bulk of their money. I do not know how they make the bulk of their wealth, yes. And the fact that Danya really is desperate, you know, to start up her own business, you know, to also have some sort of bragging right in that circle, guys, it's quite interesting that the husband does not really see how much she is struggling, you know, to stand at par with all the women in the group. Yes. And this was something that she really complained about in the first season of the show. She really complained about his lack of support, the fact that he does not pay attention to her needs as a husband, you know. So the fact that he is now so consumed with the need to revenge, with the need to confront Chris, guys, and in the process neglecting the needs of his wife, not even giving his wife the attention that she's been demanding for rightfully since season 1, guys. I don't know, but I just find it quite disappointing. Very disappointing. One would think that he's learned his lesson, but obviously he hasn't. And then next scene, Lojay invited Zena, Safa, and Mona to her house for workouts. And frankly speaking, guys, everything about this particular scene up until the end of this particular episode just validated my speculations about Lojay in my review of episode 1, that Lojay is heavily capitalizing on this beef that's happening between the two groups, the two warring parties, to increase her ratings this season. Because, guys, what I just did not really understand is when she's talking about Ebraheem, when she's supporting Ebraheem, when she's defending Ebraheem, she's very vicious about it. She makes it look like Ebraheem is blameless. She makes it look like Ebraheem did nothing wrong. And because Ebraheem is showing a bit of vulnerability around her, probably because of how much of a soft spot she's got for her brothers, she tends to extend that grace to Ebraheem, but never really extends that grace to Zena or Safa, probably because they show a lot of strength. Yes. So guys, that was exactly what was happening in this particular scene. So yes, they were working out. Safa was talking about she needs to lose like 6 kilos or thereabout. Mona is talking about she needs to lose about 20 pounds before she even thinks about getting pregnant, because she knows that the baby weight is going to be a lot for her. You know, there were conversations about having babies, and that was when Zena had actually revealed that her husband had to give her an ultimatum to start a family with him, because after 5 years of them getting married, she kept on pushing and procrastinating, their plan of getting pregnant and starting their own family. And guys, that is another area of conversation that I would love for us to have, because it made me wonder, like, wow, an ultimatum in a marriage. How did they get to that point? Why was that necessary? I mean, guys, if you can, please go ahead and just shed more light on that in the comment section below. But moving on, Zena brought up the conversation of what had happened at Lojay's dinner party, and she had made it known to Lojay that she noticed the division that was happening. That yes, she respects the fact that Lojay had actually said she did not want to be involved in the entire situation, but she felt like the dinner party was divided. And Lojay stood her ground. She said yes, she knows that it happens, that it's normal, it's not, it's not a big deal, it's normal. And I'm like, wow. So it's normal that you invite people from their homes, their businesses, their lives to your house or to a resort for dinner, and knowing fully well that all is not well in the circle, you go ahead to cause a division, took some people to a corner, not even a far corner, like behind the dining table, and you're telling them you're taking them on a trip to your motherland to celebrate one of them. And I love the fact that Zena asked those questions more like an inquiry, because she wanted to really understand where Lojay stood, because Lojay was claiming that she was neutral, but it was very obvious that she wasn't. And Lojay was making excuses for Ebraheem, like, oh, Ebraheem acts like a child, but then he admitted that he made a mistake. And I'm like, oh wow, Lojay, I mean, surely you're not so myopic to see that Ebraheem was not being 100% honest about, saying that he regretted what he had done, that he made a mistake, blah, blah, blah. And you see, to also show that she's got an agenda, that would have been the perfect opportunity for Lojay to announce to these women that, oh, as a matter of fact, she is taking Ebraheem on a trip to her motherland to celebrate his coming wedding, but she did not inform them. And she said she wasn't going to inform them because it was her choice that she's taking Ebraheem on this trip, and so she decided to choose and invite people that Ebraheem loves, and that is what matters. And I'm like, okay, fair enough. I mean, that makes a lot of sense, because it wouldn't really make sense for her to invite everybody knowing fully well that there was going to be drama. But guys, for me, it was in the way and manner that she was going about everything. For me, everything was just very, very sneaky. It's like she's got this crazy plan that she's cooking, and it's going to explode very soon. And it's going to explode, and she's going to just sit in one corner as usual and just watch all the drama happen. Yes. But then I also love the fact that Zena put it out there that she's actually lost friendships that have panned out between 10 to 15 years because of trust issues. And she's actually told Safa that Safa is her one last chance at having genuine friendship. So at that point in time, guys, it was just it was just very hilarious, because Safa was heavily panicking at that point in time. She knew she had messed up. She knew that she shouldn't have had that private meeting with Ebraheem without informing Zena, at least for the sake of their friendship. But once again, she kept quiet. She did not inform Zena. For her, oh, this is not the perfect time, so she's going to wait and look for the perfect timing to inform Zena of her meeting and reconciliation with Ebraheem. Guys, what do you think? What do you think? Do you think Safa has, betrayed Zena, or do you think Safa has every right to keep it, that information away from Zena? What are your thoughts? Still on the conversation of Safa's push present, Chris and Fahad had visited a known jeweler to check out jewelries, diamonds, for Safa. And Chris still sort of felt like Fahad was going overboard with his budget or his spending, as to the type of diamond to get for Safa. Now, there had been a suggestion at the beach for Fahad to upgrade the wedding ring that he had actually bought for Safa. Now, according to Fahad, he had actually spent millions of dollars on that ring. Yes, so they were talking about, okay, make it bigger, give her a bigger rock, like a bigger diamond ring. And so that was what they were checking out, that was what they were doing. And so it occurred to Fahad that at the point in time when DJ Bliss had, solicited for his help to be a sponsor for a show. He had not actually asked for the details, and so he made up his mind that the next time that he met, he was going to ask for the details. Whilst Chris, on the other hand, came up with this stance of he does not really know Bliss that well to even want to go into business with him, which was quite strange to me, because guys, I'm wondering, like, okay, this is weird. I don't understand. What do you mean by you don't really know DJ Bliss that well? According to him, he's not even thinking about it. He doesn't really know the man that well, so he does not think he even wants to go into business with him. Guys, frankly speaking, I was quite shocked. And see, I am fully aware that when it comes to reality TV shows like this, sometimes strangers are brought together as cast members, to give us the feel of friendship, the feel of familiarity, right? And other times we might have maybe one or two cast members that are actually real life friends, right? For Safa and Zena, from what you see on social media, you can tell that these two people actually come a long way, right? So it made me wonder, like, okay, could it be that Chris is honest about his claims of not really knowing DJ Bliss that well? Because from DJ Bliss's story, these people have known each other for over 12 years. Chris has been in Dubai for over 15 years or 14 years. So if Bliss's story is right, then it means that they've known each other forever. Or could it be that Chris is feigning ignorance of the actual issue between both of them? Guys, I was quite confused at that point in time, and it actually heightened my curiosity, about the details, the truth of this beef between these two men. Now, it was the D-Day of Zena's event, and everybody was looking amazing.
After everything I've been through, I decided to turn the situation into something positive. And I did. I am the company. Because I am the company.
Zena herself was looking so powerful, guys. Oh my God, I just totally loved everything that she was giving, everything she was wearing. Now, she had invited everyone except Ebraheem, Danya, and Danya's husband, that's DJ Bliss. But everybody else was present there, and they all looked so happy. They all looked so excited, to celebrate this new milestone with her, this new business with her. Now, LJ, on the other hand, had her own motive to handle. Yes, so there was this hospitality guru in the room, and she had moved on to him to tell him about her plans, to secure a daytime job. And guys, it was so shocking to find out that the job that she was actually talking about is the job of a waitress. According to her, she wants to go into the restaurant business, but she just does not want to start as the CEO, the boss, the owner. According to her, she needs hands-on experience, in that whole industry, and she wanted to start as a waitress. And I'm like, oh wow, this is quite interesting. But guys, I don't know what do you all think. Do you think this is the right way to go about garnering your own experience, especially when you want to venture into an industry? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And of course, it was quite shocking for this particular man. According to him, he likes LJ, and he knows how to be the sort of person that enjoys being served, so about her serving other people, he's not so sure he should be able to handle such a job. But she pleaded with him and begged him to help her find a job, and he agreed that he was going to oblige her request. And guys, frankly speaking, I cannot wait to see how LJ would pull this one off. Yeah, she's got a bit of humaneness to her, right? We've never really seen a scene where she was rude to a service person, so I would love to see how she would handle this particular job role when she begins. The party was in full swing. Everybody was having so much fun. Zena had given a very touching and emotional toast. Everybody was just super happy for her. But Safa was panicking. She was restless. She was agitated. Guys, remember, she's still holding off the secret of her meeting with Ebraheem from Zena. She's yet to tell Zena. And she was also panicking because Farhanna seemed to have eavesdropped on that conversation. Yes. And Farhanna was there at the party, so she was panicking about if Farhanna was going to tell Zena about it. There was also the dilemma of if she should tell Zena or not. For her, she does not want to spoil the mood for Zena because it was Zena's day. She wanted Zena to have fun, to enjoy the moment. But then she had confronted Farhanna and was accusing Farhanna of having eavesdropped on a conversation with her husband. And Farhanna was quite offended with the accusation because for her, she was already using the restroom and she could hear bits and pieces of their conversation, but she did not know the entirety of the conversation they were having. She wasn't really aware of the entire detail of whatever they were talking about. So she had actually, you know, admitted, okay, this is the line I heard, though I don't want to tell Zena. Zena would not be happy, but she did not understand the context of what they were talking about. Now, Safa was still panicking and she was still wondering if she should tell Zena or not. But guess what? She still did not tell Zena. Now, in the next scene, we got to meet Mona's dad. And guys, Mona's story is so touching and inspiring. You know, there we learned about how the father had actually migrated his whole family to the US, you know, during the Iraqi war, and had abandoned his home and whatever else he was doing back home. And Mona and her sisters, Uda and the other one, I can't remember her name, they had come together to start up a lash business and then grew the business into an entire makeup brand, you know, and they've been thriving, they've been doing well. There was a time when they had issues and the dad had to sell his house back at home in Iraq, you know, just to help them get back on their feet. And now they're all doing well, but she wants to be independent. She wants to start her own business. You know, people know her as Huda's sister. She no longer wants that title. She wants people to know her as Mona and not as Huda's sister. And personally, guys, I feel like she's already doing great in that regard because of her new perfume. The perfume, I think she launched it last year or 2 years ago. I can't really remember at this point, but that's the Kiali perfume. I think she's already doing great, but now she is building an entire business empire in her name. And guys, it was so heartwarming to learn that she included her father in her plans. You know, she was sharing Safa and the dad the office complex, the office floor. I think she rented or bought, guys, I don't know, but she got an entire floor in the building for her office. And then she had created this space for her father. You know, she had created an office space for her father. According to her, the father retired from work a long time now, and he's been sort of restless to get back into doing something, and so that is like a gift to him, you know, to keep himself busy. You know, she was just going on and on about all the wonderful sacrifices the father had made for her and her sisters, you know, to be who they are today. And guys, it was so inspiring. It was really inspiring. But away from that, next scene was Lojay, LJ, Farhanna, Danya, Ebraheem and his friend, you know, going on this amazing trip, this adventure to, is it Alola or Alaula? I don't know if I'm pronouncing it the right way, guys. Help me out. But that was the trip that Lojay had actually promised Ebraheem to celebrate his engagement before the actual wedding, and they had gone via a helicopter. And guys, this place is so breathtaking. This place is beautiful. It is mind-blowing. The structures, money is good. This place is amazing. It was just so beautiful. Just looking at nature in its wonders, in its glory, guys, it is beautiful. But anyways, they arrived there, they were all excited, and Farhanna decided to talk about the others that did not make it to the trip, and she was wondering what they would say, what they would think, you know, if they discovered that they had gone on this particular trip as sponsored by what's her name now, Lojay. And guys, Lojay's reaction to that statement, it was quite shocking for me. Yeah. And once again, it validated all my speculations about her, where she had said in episode 1 that this is the season of her choosing herself. You know, she was like, who are the others? Who are they? And she does not care about what they say. You know, she was just yapping about, she was just saying a lot of things, and I'm like, wow. Even the Ebraheem and Danya that has issues with these people, they don't yap their mouth the way Lojay is yapping her mouth. I mean, guys, the way she was going about it, It was like she was very, very deliberate about all of these moves that she's making. It was like she came back this season to score cheap points against Zena, especially. Not even Safa now, but Zena especially. It's like somebody told her after season 1 that Zena is the strongest cast member of the show, and you are more like the weakling. So you need to stand your ground, you need to do things, you need to test your friendship with Zena, you need to do all manner of things to be controversial this season. And it's like that's exactly what Lojay is doing this season. Whilst that was happening, there was DJ Bliss that had met up for lunch with Fahad, and according to him, he wanted to thank Fahad for offering to be the sponsor of his show. Now, in the previous scene where he had actually made that announcement, he had actually revealed during his confessional that for real, he did not need Fahad's money or Chris's support, that he was just cooking up a trap, to catch Chris and to confront him about their 12-year-old beef. Yes. So he was also using that opportunity to fish for information from Fahad, because Fahad had also mentioned that he was going to get a fake tattoo, which was Chris's idea to prank Safa before he presents her the actual push presents that she had been demanding for. And DJ Bliss was so busy, getting information, was asking the where, when, the how, like everything about the location of this tattoo place, so that he would make an impromptu appearance, take Chris Fade off guard, take him unawares, and then go for the kill, go for the attack, go for his confrontation. And Fahad, who was simply oblivious to all of these facts, went ahead and provided all of those details. And it actually happened. But before it happened, we were taken back to the trip with Ebraheem, Lojay, and the rest. So Ebraheem was appreciating everyone, for celebrating his engagement and just being his friend and just celebrating him in general. And once again, Lojay had not hesitated at all to drag Zena through the mud. For her, she does not care if Zena and Safa and whoever got jealous, because in Ebraheem's speech, he had actually said that, he knows that people are going to be jealous about them, which once again goes to show that Ebraheem is very good at playing mind games. 1 minute he's playing the victim, showing how vulnerable he is to Lojay, getting into her good books, and then he will now throw a bait, as the instigator that he is. And Lojay, of course, would swallow everything hook, line, and sinker, and Ebraheem would keep quiet and stay mute and make it look like, oh my God, I'm innocent. I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just giving a normal, speech. And just as expected, as I said, Lojay, picked up on that bait, and she was saying a lot of things like she doesn't really care if Zena gets jealous, that Zena had actually confronted her about, her taking sides with the groups, that there's no group, that she's not going to interfere, blah, blah, blah. But guys, from everything that she was doing, it was very obvious that she had actually picked a side already. And then whilst all of that was happening, Mona had thrown a party as a gift, to Zena to celebrate the birth of a new business. And she had invited everybody, aside those who were not around, aside those who had gone on the trip with Ebraheem and Lojay. And it was there at that dinner table that they had seen Instagram pictures that this other group had actually taken, calling themselves a family. Lojay too was spreading the post, calling them a family, lovely family, and all whatnot and all whatnot. And it was quite funny to Zena and Safa. It was shocking to Zena because for her, Lojay had just, announced to her where she stands, because she had actually tried having that conversation with Lojay, and Lojay had claimed that she was in the middle, she was not going to interfere in anybody's business. But then it was very obvious, with her captions and the post on Instagram. For Safa, it was quite hypocritical of Lojay, because the last time they had gone to Lojay's house, Lojay had actually said by herself that she's not close to these people, she does not consider them friends or family or whatever. That for her, why would you travel with people that you claim to not be close with? And guys, that is nothing but the absolute truth. Yeah, so as I said before, once again, it goes to show that Lojay has an agenda, and we just might see that agenda unfold before the end of the season. Now, on to the very, very interesting conversation that happened on this trip with Ebraheem and Lojay and the others. So Danya had taken that opportunity to announce to everybody that she and Ebraheem were looking at starting a cafe. You know, she had announced the name to them, the Besties Cafe, and some people were excited about it, others were not, i.e. Ebraheem's friend. Now, before he had anything to say, Danya had actually complained about her husband not being supportive enough, which I felt was kind of wrong.
But Bliss, he's like, you and Ebraheem are doing this project when you should be at home. When he says this, I get upset because I want to be successful and I want to open this business with Ebraheem.
Because for me, I just felt like it's one thing to complain about that to Ebraheem, whom she's actually closest to in the group. But then it's another thing to complain about that to every other person that is right there. Because for me, I just feel like that's you reporting your husband to people that you're not particularly close to. That's you bringing your marital affairs out to public, and it doesn't really make sense. And guys, you see, that even gave Ebraheem's friend more leverage to, you know, talk, to have an opinion, because she was complaining about it. Because she had even gone ahead to mention that DJ Bliss was telling her to stay at home and take care of their kids instead of going ahead to start up a business with Ebraheem, and that was really hurtful to her. Now, Ebraheem's friend told her that, listen,
Danya, I honestly understand Bliss. I see where he's coming from, and I would advise you not to go through with this business. I'm 100% sure that in the end, you'll have to compromise.
At some point, you would have to choose. Do you want to focus on your business, or do you want to focus on your friendship with Ebraheem, or do you want to focus on your marriage and your kids? According to him, he would not advise her to go ahead with the business. Now, these people did not take our time to even listen to this man, but it became a sexist and, you know, gender conversation. They felt like this man had issues against women in business. I mean, according to Danya, she just felt like this man was not in support of women being in business. And the man said, no, that's not the point. Because for him, even the person that is in charge of his business is a woman. From his explanation, it seems like the woman who's in charge of his business is not married. She does not have kids. She does not have obligations. So all of her energy and her time, everything is focused on managing his business. And I think that was the message he was trying to pass on to Danya. But Danya, Ebraheem, LJ, they were all getting in their feelings, and LJ especially was quite upset. And she was saying that no, Danya is an adult. Danya has a right to do business with whoever she wants to do business with, and, you know, just do whatever she wants to do. It does not mean that she will not have time for her kids. And guys, I felt like that was a very, very sensitive conversation, because the man was not backing down. He was saying during his confessionals that, nah, these people are trying to make him look bad. They're trying to say things he's not trying to say. They're not even trying to understand where he was coming from. But guys, I'm throwing this question to all of you now. Where do you think Ebraheem's friend was actually thinking from? What do you understand by the explanation he was giving? I completely understand where he's coming from. Yes, I mean, there's time for everything. If you did not have plans with your husband to go into business, to do XYZ, then it should be a serious conversation you should have with him. But guys, I would love to hear your thoughts about it. Just go ahead and share in the comment section below. The conversation did not end there. Ebraheem had also used that opportunity to announce to Danya and everybody that they had actually had a meeting with Safa to trash out their differences. And Danya did not find it funny.
I met Safa.
What? When?
A few days ago.
Just you and Safa?
Just me and Safa.
Why? What's the reason?
During her confessionals, she was really pissed. And she was asking Ebraheem, like, for what reason? Why? Why exactly? And Ebraheem was trying to explain, and he was saying that, he had told Safa not to tell Zena. And Farhanna instantly opened her mouth, you know, spilling everything, that, oh, no wonder it makes sense. That no wonder that it seems like Safa is actually afraid of Zena, because she had actually overheard what Safa had actually discussed with her husband Fahad in the restroom at Lojay's dinner party. You know, everybody was saying that, Safa is actually scared of Zena. But then Danya came from another angle. For her, she does not think Safa is scared of Zena. As a matter of fact, she strongly believes that Safa is the problem. that Safa is the problem. Safa is the one that actually escalated and fueled the issue between herself and Zena. That Safa was the one that actually instigated everything, that she would have preferred if Ebraheem had had that meeting with Zena instead of Safa. That with time, she believes that Ebraheem will see Safa for who Safa truly is.
She went behind my back, talking to Zena, making Zena even more mad about me and you. And now she's reaching out to my best friend, trying to get him on her side.
And guys, frankly speaking, I totally understand where Danya was coming from, because we've said this several times, you know, during the previous season, that Safa has a smart mouth. You know, she opens her mouth, she makes certain, you know, degrading statements without even thinking about it. It's everything that she thinks about that comes out of her mouth. And then she says these things. And because she has this very, very harmless, playful exterior, people don't really think that there's anything harmful about what she says. But then everybody points fingers at Zena because Zena looks tough. You know, she has this very, very hard exterior. She looks very, very tough, very, very domineering. And Ebraheem was even calling her scary, intimidating, blah, blah, blah. And once again, it made me wonder that Ebraheem, every single time you claim that you regret that drama you displayed in Zena's office, it's not true. Your apology is not even genuine. Anyways, moving on to the final scene. Chris and Fahad had gone to get the fake tattoo to prank Safa. And then what we saw next was DJ Bliss driving like a crazy person, like driving really fast to meet up with them at the tattoo parlor. And then he got there, and the moment Chris saw him, Chris said, hey, stood up and left. He said he was done. He was leaving, he had to go somewhere. And that, once again, heightened my curiosity about this issue between Chris and DJ Bliss. Because it made me wonder why Chris Fade got uncomfortable all of a sudden and why he left. Why he did not want any confrontation, why he did not even want any conversation, you know, with DJ Bliss. And DJ Bliss was following him, sort of harassing him, you know, for a conversation. Like, oh, why are you leaving? Where are you going to? Let's have a conversation.
I'm out. Where you going? I'm out. Why are you running away?
I gotta go. Hold on. Hello?
Why are you running away?
What's happening? Hello?
Ouch.
Why running away? It's been 12 years. Blah, blah, blah. He was just saying all manner of things. And Chris had already taken off his mic, which indicated that he was done with the conversation. He was not talking.
I'm trying to find out what the problem is. I didn't try here. I didn't come and accuse you of anything. I want you to explain to me what's been going on. That's all I want to know.
Yes, production was following with the cameras and microphones and everything, but Chris Fade was not stopping by. And that was where DJ Bliss said during his confessionals that who runs away from a crime scene, that it is the guilty person. And guys, I was wondering, like, okay, is that really a crime scene? What exactly is going on between these two people? So ladies and gentlemen, I know that a lot of you must have seen episode 3 already. I haven't seen episode 3 yet. I am taking my time with the show because with each episode comes new drama. Yes, but hey, I leave it out to all of you at this point. Go ahead, let me know your thoughts about this particular episode of the show in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys on another episode of Frankly Speaking with the Real Lojay. Thanks for watching and have an amazing day. Bye.